Hello everyone, welcome to unit number 3. Let's move on to language focus. 일본. Some are wondering why it shouldn't just be the country's main name. Use wonder with the question word why, who, what, where, how to express or describe curiosity or the desire to get an answer in some question. 그 wonder는 한국어 뭐예요? wonder는 보통 curious 비슷한 단어예요. 궁금하다. Okay? 그래서 wonder why is like 왜일까? 왜 이렇게 해요? Or wonder who is 누군지 궁금하다. wonder where 어디에 궁금해요. wonder how 어떻게 궁금해요. 이렇게 사용할 수 있어요. Example, 예를 들어서 I sometimes wonder why American football isn't more popular here. 나는 가끔 왜 미국 풋볼가 여기서 더 인기가 없는지 궁금해요. I hate American football. It's so boring. 왜 여기서 인기 많지 않아요? Only in America is American football popular. I don't think it's popular in any other. The next example, Michael hardly studied in high school. So everybody wonders how he got into Seoul National University. 마이클이 고등학교에서 거의 공부하지 않았기 때문에 모든 사람들은 그거 어떻게 서울대학교에 들어갈 수 있는지 궁금했어요. He was not a great student. He wasn't a great studier. He wasn't very good at listening in class. 어떻게 서울대학교에 들어갔어요? Everyone is curious. Maybe he's a genius. So wonder why, 왜일까? Wonder who 누군지 궁금하다. Wonder where 어디가 궁금해요. Wonder how 어떻게 궁금해요. We use wonder 궁금하다. Curious as to why as well. Wonder why. We can also say curious. Curious as to why. Curious as to where. You can also say. 2번. Ever since the late 19th century, the desire for a non-colonial name has been growing among Kiwis. So we are going to focus on ever since. This is another easy grammar structure, I think. So use ever since instead of just since to imply that something has been happening for a long time. Okay, when we use ever since, it is similar to 그때 이래로. 그때 이래로 뭐뭐 그때부터 from that time. Okay? So ever since. So example, Tony has always had a strange sense of humor. Ever since he was a child. 토니는 어렸을 때부터 ever since 항상 이상한 유머 감각을 가지고 있었다. So ever since he was a child. 어렸을 때부터. Ever since he was a child, he had a strange sense of humor. 이상한 유머 감각을 가지고 있었다. Let's have a look at the next example. Ever since the Middle Ages, Oxford and Cambridge had been educating students in the UK. Ever since the Middle Ages. 그래서 중세 이래로 옥스퍼드와 케임브리지는 영국에서 학생들을 교육해왔다. So ever since the Middle Ages. From the Middle Ages. You can also remove ever. You can just say since the Middle Ages, or since Tony has always been a Tony has always had a strange sense of humor since he was a little child. 근데 ever 추가하면 더 강한 느낌이에요. Ever since is usually a bit stronger. Now, let's move on to the language focus quiz. 1번. Some people wonder why it's necessary to This one's an easy one because I think this go to university. 그래서 어떤 사람들은 대학교에 가는 것이 왜 필요한지 궁금해해요. 저도 그렇게 생각해요. 호주에서 대학교에 안 가도 돼요. 근데 한국에서 가야 해요. It's like the new 고등학교. It's like the new high school, in my opinion. But it's very necessary here in Korea. But I wish it wasn't necessary. 2번. I often wonder how. I often wonder how he got the job. 나는 그가 어떻게 그 직업을 얻었는지 궁금해요. 그 사람 일 너무 못해요. 이 직업을 어떻게 얻었는지 궁금해요. Okay, so yes, 1번, 2번, wonder how and wonder why, wonder where, wonder who 이렇게 사용합니다. 3번, ever since I was very young, I've always, let's say, example wanted to be an actor. 아주 어렸을 때부터 ever since I was young, very young, ever since I was very young, 저는 항상 배우가 되고 싶었어요. Okay, so ever since I was very young, I wanted to be an actor. Alright, 4번, ever since the 1980s, Jeez, I was born in the 1980s. Technology has quickly evolved. Okay. So, 1980년대 이후로 기술은 빠르게 발전해왔다. So, from the 1980s, technology has moved very, very quickly. Ever since. Remember, you can take away ever 해도 돼요. 근데 ever since 조금 더 강해요. Now, let's move on to the further discussion. 1번. What should be done to preserve indigenous languages such as Maori? 마오리 족과 같은 원주민 언어를 보존하기 위해 무엇을 해야 하는가요? You need to teach it in schools. Same with Korean language. We can see the evolution in Korean language as well. A lot of people these days are using English, English words in Korean language. 예를 들어서 meeting, or instead of 회, we say meeting. I think this is one of the main ways to do it is to keep it within schools. I know that when I was growing up in Australia, they didn't really teach a lot about Indigenous people in Australia, the Aboriginals, which is sad. Maori culture is something that is still used a lot today in New Zealand compared to Australia and the Australian Aboriginals. So they should try and keep it as much in schools as possible. Do you think the Maori population of New Zealand should receive some special privileges and support? If so, what kind of privileges and support should they get? If not, why? 뉴질랜드 마오리 쪽 사람들이 특별한 특권과 지지를 받아야 한다고 생각하나요? Of course, the government should support the Maori culture, the Maori language, because it's a part of New Zealand. It's something that shouldn't be forgotten. I think that it's very important to preserve history of your country. If so, what kinds of privileges and support should they get? 만약에 그렇다면 그들은 마오리 사람들은 어떤 종류의 특권과 지원을 받아야 하는가? I think government support in education for talking about the Maori culture or learning about the Maori culture. I think seminars to promote Maori culture would be great for the country of New Zealand. Yeah, I think there are many different ways that you can support Indigenous culture. Teachers of the culture, the elders who can pass down their knowledge of the Maori culture. This is a great way to preserve it, in my opinion. Anyways, that wraps it up for unit number 3, and I'll see you on unit number 4.
Long-standing.
Long-standing.
Kiwi.
Kiwi.
Indigenous.
Indigenous.
Quite a mouthful.
Quite a mouthful.
National anthem.
National anthem.
Pun.
Pun.